this week's Talking Codswallop. I am Gemma.
I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I've not been here for that long. It's like being lost in a forest. I am, of course, James, I think, allegedly.
Well, to be honest, my brain's just as foggy as yours at the moment, so you could be anyone, really, couldn't you?
So technically what you're saying is our brains are like London. A thick pea soup of London fog.
Yes.
If this was the 40s or 50s, people and our brains were an equivalent of that. They would be having to cut through the fog. It's that thick.
Yeah, absolutely. And strange that you actually say that, because there was a programme on the TV about the London smog the other day.
Ah.
Yeah, so we actually... Well,
interesting.
I watched part of it. I didn't watch all of it. But, yeah, it was just like saying about how, how it made so many people unwell and whatnot. But... The issues that they had at the time when it come and Salty Tadpoles, stay tuned. This is a history lesson. When it came to things like the smog and the fog, I mean, I remember once talking to my father about it. He obviously wasn't in London, but he was around areas where there would be elements of industrialisation. Yeah,
that it would be these incredibly thick fog smoke, like almost a yellowish tinge sometimes because of pollutants that went in them. But yeah, I mean, it was horrendous when it happened in London, and it went on for a very prolonged period of time. Yeah, and people became ill from it. It was a very horrendous experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, from this programme, people actually died from it, not just got ill from it. But yeah, which is not good. Anyway, we're talking Codswallop.
Hang on in there, tadpoles. We will get to the humour, honest.
Well, actually, because this is, I know I've had a couple of episodes before this one, but obviously this is the first episode that me and James are properly just chatting away with our normal self and normal stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of do the serious parts first of, the reasons why I've not been here. Most people probably know, but yeah, I think it was about 6 weeks ago now. Maybe 7 weeks ago, I got COVID. Yay. And ever since, I've been suffering with a lot of the symptoms. I've been dealing with a lot of, like the exhaustion, the headaches, and James knows all about this, but because he's a sufferer too. So sadly, it looks as though I might be going down the long COVID route. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's also been a lot of like mental health things going on as well, because I think where I've felt so tired, I've been quite emotional about things. But one of the things that I've been quite emotional about is the fact that I haven't been recording. Because it's like, it's catch-22 at the moment that I don't want to keep harping on about being so tired, blah, 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 because I feel like I'm a broken record saying it, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I absolutely love doing it. I love sitting here and just shooting the shit with James. It's so much... It brings me so much joy just sitting down and recording the episodes and putting out the episodes for folks to listen to. But I've just not had the energy to do any of the recording. So it's kind of like I'm in a rock and a hard place at the moment. So if our episodes are not on a weekly basis at the moment, I just wanted to explain that might be the reason why, if James is not feeling up to it as well, because I've got to take it, your health into consideration as well. That, if we're not doing a weekly podcast, then that's the reason why. But also thank you to everyone who's stuck with us over the last however long it's been as well. And to those of you who's left, come on back. Come on.
Absolutely, but I mean, I'm sorry you're feeling rough with it, Gemma. I can wholeheartedly appreciate the problems. I mean, what I would say is that obviously you mentioned the fact you missed recording, you missed the tadpoles, you missed the obvious thing, so that you really, really miss, just hearing from me and speaking from me. You did kind of skirt it and cover it, so I have to give you a tick in the box there. But to quote The Simpsons, it's like the Pepsi Learning Challenge thing. With the answer being Pepsi, partial credit.
Yeah, well, Pepsi's shit, so there you go. You know my thoughts about Pepsi. But
you'll fail at the Pepsi School of the Future.
Exactly, yeah.
You'll be in the dunce corner.
I'd rather it be the Coca-Cola, okay? But no, sorry, I do apologise because I did miss you off, but that's because I was very kind and gracious at the beginning before we clicked record to say that I've missed talking to you. And stop talking over me, you naughty boy. I'm trying to pay you a compliment and you're chatting away over top of me. But no, I do miss speaking to my good, wonderful, amazing friend James.
Yes, I miss speaking to you too. It's good. It's really good getting this. I think also it probably will give us both, because we are suffering with before we hit the microphone to record, and this is for the people who doubt the effects of long COVID. Yeah, it's pretty bloody horrendous, because I still have moments where I'm so tired I can't function. I have to rest. I still. And I said this, I'll forget names and words, and we're not talking about just the thing where you occasionally will slip and that'll come back. I mean, literally, I today was having a conversation with a name that I should have been able to recall like that, and I literally had nothing. It's like you are literally looking at an empty, if you imagine it's a box with the name in, you've opened the box, there is nothing there.
Yeah.
And it is not fun. It is not easy. And medically, when you're speaking to doctors about it, they're very honest. They'll help you as much as they can. But as they say, we don't know enough at the moment. So they can't give you things that will hopefully fix you there and then. It's all a learning curve and a slow process. But as they say, we will get there in the end, hopefully. And I'm sure we will.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we will, definitely. But because you've been dealing with this for about a year and a half now?
Probably about that, or 2 years, It's in the great run of it. But it affects everybody with different severities. So there's I have a massive underlying health problem, so it links into that. But
yeah, so do I. So
we both have that. Don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just because there's a little bit of background noise because I had my window open. So I'm just going to very quickly close my window because the gardeners, the people in the gardens are just now doing the gardening part of things. So just bear with me one moment, sir. I'll just close my window. Doodaloo-doo.
If there's a loud bang with the window trying to be closed, and we hear a falling noise, and we'll scream and a falling noise, I'm advertising for a new co-host, clearly. And she can't hear any of that, listeners. Salty Tadpoles.
Okay, and I'm back.
There you go. Anyway, on that bombshell, you will hear that you'll hear what I was saying in the. You listen back.
Well, if it's good enough, it's staying in. If it's not, then the Salty Tadpoles will never know.
No, that's true. That's true.
So anyway, let's face it, it's been about 6 weeks, and I think it's 6 weeks. I, to be honest, lost track of time completely. So it's been a long time since we spoke last. The last time we spoke, you were having issues with an airline. I'm just going to recap a minute. The petrol prices were sky high, and there was a war in Russia and Ukraine, I think, is the only things that had happened. So probably a few other things. Oh, and there was a change of a prime minister. So so now...
Well, no, there wasn't. There wouldn't have been at that point.
Oh, no, there wouldn't.
No. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, what's happened in the UK since then? Nothing of major significance, hardy. No, we have had the historic death of a monarch. The Queen has died. Long live the King, because, you lose one person, the monarchy carries on. So King Charles III is now in. But what a strange thing. 70 years of reign, and then...
just like that, gone.
Wow. Yeah.
I know. It feels really, really surreal to me. I know there are potentially a lot of listeners that, don't share positive thoughts about the monarchy and stuff like that. And that's absolutely fair enough. I'm not going to stop anyone from what they want to say. And, we'll probably just touch upon this rather than go into long detail or whatever. But, it does seem really weird that, I know it's not going to happen overnight, but our money's going to change, our stamps are going to change, that we have to now say king rather than queen, it's I think I've never really been overly a royalist type thing, but I always did have a fondness for the Queen, and I think it was because she wasn't always constant in my life.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is weird to sort of adjust to. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you think about it, for the entire run of certain of our lives, but for people who are older than us, it's always been a constant thing of Elizabeth II. That's been the reality. People will for their entire life have only ever known a female monarch. So it will obviously be an interesting change to have a male monarch. And you and I were talking on the day it happened, and it was kind of an obvious when the thing flashed up saying that she was, ill, basically. Yeah. They were concerned. I thought, well, she's not going to, I can't see her surviving. I didn't think she was going to die on the day. I thought it may be the next day. But it's, as my father and I, when we discussed it, said, it's the magical age of 96, and that's more of a family thing for us. We say that because, interestingly, the Queen, my great aunt, died same age, but obviously, not at the same time. They were
but not far off, though, was it?
No, not far off. And as I always like to say, if Marilyn Monroe was still alive, she'd be 96 as well.
Yeah, I know, but
my grandmother was my father's mother was of that age as well. If she'd been alive now, yeah. So yeah,
I mean,
good year, obviously.
So would have my gran, but she's dead. So it's
clearly it was a good year, a good collective year for people being born.
Well, yeah, but they're not the last ones that we've referred to, James, are dead. So, it's...
I know, but we've got to work with what we've got. Or not, God.
I mean, we could have said, yay, David Attenborough won the bet, kind of thing, because there was that long running British bet, kind of thing. Because for anyone who doesn't know,
first?
We do have some international listeners, so you may not be aware of this, but obviously, hopefully, you're aware of David Attenborough. He's like the best animal presenter, talker, whatever he does. But, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd learn anything about animals. But he is also the same age as the Queen, so he's 96. And because of the sickness of the British humour, because we are very wrong at times, there was a running bet, so to speak, a metaphorical bet rather than a real one, to see who was going to die first, whether it was going to be the Queen or whether it's going to be David Attenborough. So, yeah, pleased to say that David Attenborough is still here.
I can still put a bet on.
Oh yeah, you can.
If he's gonna make it to the end of the year, that's something I never sort of realised. Speaking about betting, until ironically, I was listening to an episode of I nearly said Talking Codswallop. That's wishful thinking. Tell them, Steve, Dave.
Yeah.
Where they talk about the difference in America that you can't bet on certain things, whereas in the UK you can pretty much bet on anything you want.
No,
so.
And it's insane, isn't it? It's absolutely insane that you can literally just, whether your child's going to have a poo or a wee first, kind of thing.
But,
Maybe
but
not
personally,
quite, but...
just for the Salty Tadpoles, I wouldn't recommend going to a bookmaker's and saying, I want to bet on people dying, because if these people start dying, you will be looked at with suspicion.
Yeah, definitely. Because, last Saturday, for those of you who watched, we did a live stream. And James couldn't make it, unfortunately.
You did. I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. But James really wasn't feeling very well, and as I explained during the live stream, he really wasn't feeling right. So I didn't make too many jokes until halfway through. But the wonderful Eddie Pence stepped in to fill your shoes, even though he didn't want to fill your shoes at all. But you know, he tried. So hopefully that episode will be released next week. So my throat is going again. We'll hear the fact that, you know, like I talked about the Queen a little bit in that episode as well. So yeah, I can't really, I'm not going to really talk about it much more, but you have to stay tuned for next week's.
Tune in.
Yeah. And you, James.
No, well, I'll have a listen. I will hear what is said either about me or pointedly at me, so to speak.
And what was said over the top of me, because at one point I couldn't get a word in edgeways, but that's, you know, there was a like time delay on the audio and stuff like that as well. So.
Oh, wow. I will definitely look forward to hearing that one.
Yeah. So, James, I think everybody's been sat at the edge of their seats for God knows how long. Did you ever get your refund back from the airline?
Yes, partly.
Okay, partly. How?
Right. Well, not to go into too much detail, but interesting, to about 2 months to the date, I finally got the money back. I won't go into extreme detail, but I will just say that if you remember, we had to pay for like taxi costs because we'd been left in the country at about 10:30 at night, and we had to get a hotel and things. So they gave you a specific amount of money towards flight delay.
Okay.
But they wouldn't pay the full amount for the hotel because they said it was not. It was considered that we got too good a hotel room, like we had an option.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Yep. And then my personal favourite, they felt that instead of taking a taxi, we should have taken public transport. So they would not paid the full amount out to that. I think they ended up paying about £12 of
oh my
of that
God.
Cost. Because their answer is that I can't remember the term they used. It was something like, you know, a responsible pay thing would go towards public transport. And I did respond with, well, I'd like, you know, to be aware that there were 3 of us, 2 with health problems, and it was the middle of the night, and you'd left us basically stranded. But yeah, so I will consider how I pursue this. The situation was even worse for my aunt and uncle, who'd paid hundreds of pounds to travel from Birmingham to Manchester, and were told, well, you could have taken public transport. Well, they couldn't have done because it's when all the strikes were on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they got about 18 quid back.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's
horrendous. 18 quid against hundreds of pounds of taxi cost.
That is absolutely disgusting. I bet you're not going to fly with them again, are you?
And not if I can help it, no.
No.
Can't see it happening.
No, I was going to say, well, I can imagine actually sometimes you don't really get a choice, do you? But yeah, it's if you can help it, you're definitely not going to. But yeah, with regards to that, that's awful. Are you?
It is pretty bad.
Yeah, are you all disputing it, sort of thing?
Yes, I doubt there's ways you can do it with him directly, but there'll be other avenues we're looking at pursuing. But yeah, it's a certainly difficult situation, and I do feel very sorry for if you were really, really needed that money. It would be an awful situation. I still step back to look at the time when there was the girl next to me where they were basically making a cough up €100, even though they cancelled her flight. And it's an awful situation. So Eurowings are not high on my list of favourite people, but you know.
Yeah.
Watch this space if there's any more to but at least I got something. At least I did get something. It's not right the way they've done elements of it, but at least we did get something back. So yeah, I'm sure some people wouldn't have got anything. So, but
yeah, that's not customer service one bit, is it? Have you gone to like an ombudsman or anything like that?
I don't want to give too much away.
Okay,
but we are looking at other avenues. So,
okay, sorry. I won't ask any more questions then, because I know that obviously it's a bit hard, isn't it, to sort of discuss. So, but yeah, well, good luck. That's all I'll say then.
But yeah, it's you've got to laugh because if you don't, cry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you'll be like the bumbling mess that I was yesterday. But
Oh dear.
no, I mean there was no reason for it. It was just like I'm tired.
Well, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do understand.
Anyway, we're not gonna talk about me with my health issues anymore because well, we might. I might. Yeah. Who knows? But but yeah.
So my question is, Gemma, since we haven't had a proper chat for ages, what have you been up to?
Wow, nothing.
Oh dear.
Life is a little bit boring at the moment. I watched the Taylor Hawkins Tribute Concert.
I saw some of that. It was great.
Yeah, it really was, and it was just such a magical gig. It went on for 6 hours.
God, yeah, it did, didn't it? I watched highlights of it, so I didn't watch all of it. I will sit down at some point and watch all of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be on YouTube now. I think I found it on YouTube, but because originally it was being aired on, I think it was like MTV or something like that. Because originally I was supposed to actually be going to it, but because of my health, I sadly couldn't make it. But
just back me up for a minute. MTV still show music?
Well, yeah. I'm not sure, actually. I think it's mostly Catfish, actually, on that programme or channel or whatever.
Or the Kardashians, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. But no, I can't remember exactly what channel it was on, but it was being live streamed. So, so it went on for 6 hours. And it was such an amazing concert that it was put on. It was like, it was heartbreaking at times because you'd see like Dave Grohl was in pieces because it was their first gig without Taylor being there, and also the his children, Taylor Hawkins' children were there as well, and his son is an incredible drummer. So, he's...
Excellent.
Yeah,
the genetics have worked.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. He's following in his dad's footsteps, definitely. And, got to see Brian May. Brian May was amazing. Well, to be honest, there was a couple of people there that... Well, some of them I didn't know. And some of the people... I kind of questioned why they were there in a way. It's like the likes of like Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, I couldn't work that either.
Yeah,
I couldn't quite fathom that one.
Yeah, it just didn't seem to fit. But then apparently he was a friend of them, so so that was good. But it was actually quite interesting that they put Liam Gallagher on at the beginning. And then Brian May sort of towards the end. And I wonder if they did that so that Liam went home so that Brian May could come in because they both had a massive, falling out. Funny enough, Liam Gallagher probably pissed them off.
I didn't know that. Doesn't surprise me, though.
No, I think he said something offensive about Queen or something. And obviously then Brian May probably got a bit uppity about it. But, I'm not sure the ins and outs exactly of what went on, but you can guarantee that Liam Gallagher probably opened his mouth and said something that was wrong.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That does sound about right.
Yeah.
But it was a very good concert. It was enjoyable. I'm going to just cough. Hang on.
Go on, that's fine. Yeah, so then towards the end, it was like the Foo Fighters were playing all of their songs. And again, it was heartbreaking, but it was also really amazing with different drummers. And Dave Grohl was drumming throughout the day as well. Halfway through the Foo Fighters set, there's an announcement, another special guest. Who can that be, James? None other than Paul fucking McCartney.
Very few people know that that's his middle name. I'm very impressed.
Paul F. McCartney. So, yeah, I sighed and I had a little sulk.
Yeah, you clearly don't know quality, but keep going, Jim.
No, I like the Beatles. And I was trying to be respectful because he's a Beatle. But the first song that he did it with Chrissie Hynde from The Pretenders. Yeah. And I don't get the song choice because...
No, I don't.
The the atmosphere had gone from being, I'm pointing up into the sky. So the atmosphere, it felt like, went from being all the way up into the sky, literally back down to the ground. You know, it flattened it so quickly. And I think when he did his second song, Helter Skelter, that was a better choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's what I couldn't understand. It would have made, because Helter Skelter's like rock, it would have made more sense just through Helter Skelter to keep going. I don't understand why I literally don't understand why they chose O'Dowd. There must be some reason behind it that we don't know.
Unless it was
maybe
because
Chrissy Hine likes it, or maybe Taylor Hawkins liked it.
Well, that was the thing. It was a lot of songs that that Taylor Hawkins did like, so it could have been the choice was because he liked the song, but at the same time, it was not a good placement for it. It was it was horrendous. But at the same time, I was just like, oh, fuck off. I was like, really, is Chris Martin going to come out in a second? You know, I was having a good old little rant and rave about that, but you know, hey ho. But you know, all in all, it was fantastic. Apart from Kesha, I don't know. Have you seen the bit with her?
I have. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I have.
I was like, oh my god, that the floor might be a slip hazard in a minute, because she was grinding so much against the floor that I thought that it was disgusting. And her singing was atrocious. You know, she was like forcing her voice to sing. You know, it was like, oh god, that's disgusting. What are you doing, love? You know, just go and have a seat. Wait for it all to go over.
Yeah. Yeah, go home.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, but you know, still, I'm glad that I watched it. So that was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad it was an enjoyable experience for you.
Yeah.
From a couple of blips on the radar, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. But I think these things happen, don't they? So it's not the end of the world. But failing that, I haven't really done much apart from really just chilling out, because I know that in October I'm coming up to Birmingham and I want to see if I can try and get myself well enough for that, because that's that's a show that I really, really want to go to. So, yeah, because it's this podcast that I listen to. So does Lucy, and Lucy Caton, who obviously was on our episode a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we're going to go and see a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left, and they are a comedy sort of true crimes podcast. And I know the two you don't think probably would mix, but it actually does. And yeah, they're very, very funny and very, very good as well. So, and yeah, extremely informative as well. So
yeah, that sounds good. I like true crime stuff. I listen to weird things like the Y-Files, which not true crime, but they discuss sort of strange things that happen in the world. So yeah, it's always interesting stuff to hear things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I've listened to them for years. So the fact that when they announced that they were coming over to this country, I was like, all right, I really need to get a ticket. And very lucky, Lucy got me a ticket. So, because she...
Excellent. Well done, Lucy.
Yes, exactly. So this is twice now, the second time that she's managed to come through. So, yeah. And other than that, I've been watching quite a few things on the TV, which I can...
Ooh, what have you watched?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can either go into now, or we can find out how you've been and what you've been up to first.
We can quickly discuss me. So, interesting when you mention music. Over the bank holiday weekend, I went and saw my dad, spent some time with him, but I also went to the penultimate show of the group Cue the Music, who play James Bond's music.
Oh, yes.
And if you cast your minds back to earlier episodes, Salty Tadpoles, I interviewed Warren Ringham, who is the creator of and the band leader for Cue the Music. And it was just, I went with my pal Luke, who I had seen Cue the Music with once before, but I wanted to see them for the penultimate show, and it was just very good. We got there slightly early, and as we were walking to the venue, the side door was a group group of people talking who turned out to be Warren Ringham and the people from the 007 Please podcast. So I said, hello, hi guys, I'll be seeing you later. And Tom, who's of the the 007 podcast, went, you're James from Talking Codswallop. I was like, yes, I am. He went, recognise your photo. So we are spreading the knowledge of who we are. So I went and had a chat with all them, which was really nice. We went for a drink before the show, went into the show, beyond brilliant. The vocals of the people who perform are just knock your socks off. Amazing. It was a really enjoyable event to be at. It is tinged with sadness because, they are going to be shutting shop. Because one of the problems they had was from COVID. It created financial issues for them, and all the band members have other jobs and things they need to do. But the other weird thing is that people met me at the event who recognised me from podcasting, which was really nice. I had a few other people say hello.
Oh, that's good. From this podcast or from other podcasts that you've done? People who I've been on. It's a mixture of that and being on podcasts. Met Victoria, who runs the Bond Room Unlocked, which was really nice to see her, and Johnny James, who I know from other podcast stuff. So it was nice that people recognise me. Yeah, I got a feeling of what minor celebrity must be like. So that was nice. Yeah. And at the end, now the great thing to mention... I'm just going to interrupt very, very quickly. You carry on talking. I'm desperate for a wee, so I'm going to just nip off to the loo quickly. Sorry.
Yeah. Keep it in. Keep that part in.
I might do, because it's not normally me, is it? It's normally James, but, that's fine. I'm doing the chair wiggle. I can't do it any longer.
Yep. So as Gemma runs off to use the facilities... So the great thing, Salty Tadpoles, for the Cue the Music show is it had sold out the entire venue at Buxton, so that's 900 seats. I think when I say the whole thing, there might have been 3 empty seats. But as I said, I got to meet people, which was really nice, and talk to them. And the whole show was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I was going to say I'd recommend anyone to see it if they can. It may be tricky because they're doing one last show in London, which is in October, but that will be the end of Cue the Music. But fear not, Salty Tadpoles. You can find things online. They do on YouTube, and they do Blu-rays and other such things. But it was just wonderful. And the show came to an end, and I got pictures with the members of the band, which was great. But the whole event was compared by Caroline Bliss, who played Miss Moneypenny in The Living Daylights and Licence to Kill. And I've had the pleasure of also interviewing her, if you delve back into our archives, and you can hear the interview with her. And at the end of it, I was hoping to just be able to say hello to her and get something signed. I had a book that I wanted to have signed, that I've had a few other members of the Living Daylights cast sign. And I think I can hear Gemma in the background, or maybe not.
Huh?
Oh, yes, I can hear Gemma in the background.
You can. Were you singing?
I was. So, yeah, Gemma will have to tune back into the rest, but to hear it, so I don't reiterate it. But, yeah, so we came to the end of the show.
Just quickly, I'll let the Salty Tadpoles know. I will also be editing it, so I don't need to tune in.
So she will. Yeah, she doesn't, you see. Yeah. So... As I said, we got to the end of the show, and I was hoping that I'd be able to, because I'd had photographs with the band. I'm just reiterating that you can chop this out, Gemma. So the whole thing was great.
Yeah.
Came to the end of the show, got pictures for the band members, and the whole event had also been compared by Caroline Bliss, who, well, you know who she is. I know she is. I've interviewed her on the show previously. So, and I was hoping to get her to sign a book that I had, which I've had a few members of the Living Daylights cast sign in the past. But it looked like she wasn't doing anything. And I was chatting to Kerry, who's one of the singers, and I said, and I'd heard a conversation between Kerry and someone else. And I said, is she still around, Caroline? She said, I don't know. I said, well, do you think there's any chance you could get this signed? And she said, I'll go and see if she's about. So Kerry went off and did a thing. And I was chatting to a few other people. And I said to my friend Luke, I tell you what, let's go around the corner. I can get the book. And if she's still about, she's still about. So Kerry comes out. She goes, hey, success, I've got your book signed. And I said, is she still here? And Kerry said, well, she might be where that door is open, but you never heard me say that. So I was like, right, come on, Luke. And Luke's like Paul, Luke, my friend Luke must feel like he's like some sort of cameraman, because all he seems to do is spend his time taking pictures of me at events. He's the guy who took a picture when I was with Kevin Smith.
Oh, okay.
So I'm walking up there with Luke, and our 007 podcast, please, guys are walking past, so I say hello to them. And I get to the door, and I can hear Caroline talking, and she's saying, right, I've got to go. And she's talking to somebody whose book she'd signed and had a picture with. She came out, and I said to her, I know you're going, but can I just speak to you for a minute? And she's saying, well, really, I've got to go. I've got to get going. It's late. She said, I've got someone's pen. So she hands her pen over. And before she was that, she says, what do you want signing? I said, well, you've already signed something. I just wanted a picture. And she said, well, I'm sorry, I've really got to go. I know I feel bad doing it. And then she looked at me and she went, have we met before? And I said, yeah, my name's James Steff. You're on a podcast. And thank God she remembered me.
Oh, that's
She did
amazing.
then remember me. Thank God she remembered me, because I could see, her face lit up, and you can see like the little light bulb sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she started and the reason I could tell it was genuine was she started talking to me about her work and things she's been doing, which is not something you normally talk to somebody about, is
No,
it? They
yeah.
just generally want to talk about Bond. So I got a picture with her, which was great. We had a good chat about things. She told me why she'd not gone out to the 900 plus people, which I can understand.
Yeah.
Just want to go back to a hotel. So we had a good chat, touch base. I went off. We basically were going the same way, so I waved goodbye to her and wished her a good evening. Went off to my car. She went off to a hotel, and it was a really, really good evening. Great event, and as I've sadly, was having to say for people, if you can ever see Cue the Music, there's one last performance they're doing in London.
Yeah.
But I think it's entirely sold out. But if you can go online, you can buy Blu-rays, DVDs, etc. They are well worth seeing if that's the only way you can do it, and support them. And they are just phenomenal. I mean, I was saying 900 seats. I think bar maybe 3 seats all sold out.
That's insane, isn't
Everything had been sold out at Buxton. It's a real shame they've not been able to continue, because they are that good. But I had a really good evening with that, and I'm very much glad I went to it.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad. We've both had quite exciting things happen then in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good.
For me, it was this lovely thing that people recognised me through the podcast.
Yeah.
So yet again, I'll say, Gemma, thank you for the step of allowing me to be part of this podcast, because if you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have got to meet and interview people and be recognised by people at events. So once again, thank you for that.
You're absolutely welcome. So how many business cards did you give out to people that, while they were noticing
if I had
you?
any, I had any, I would have done.
I think you still have some. I sent you more than enough to cover you a lifetime. But,
I will have to have a look.
I mean, they're outdated, but still. But the information is...
I did get us new listeners, because when I told them and they linked in, they said, right, going to tune in. So, yeah, we have got new listeners.
Oh, well, in that case, then thank you to anyone who's listening. Even if James is bullshitting right now, thank you.
I am not. How dare you?
He's just trying. No, but on a serious note, I'm really glad that you had that opportunity. So that was really good.
It was nice. It was nice meeting new people as well. So that was always one of the really good things as well. So yeah, well worth attending. Great event. But yeah, I'm glad we both had an enjoyable musical event.
Yeah, definitely. So sort of just quickly, with regards to what I've been watching and stuff.
Yes.
I have, there's a few things that I've been watching that I've kind of just, watched for the sort of almost numb TV, kind of thing. But one program that I watched, which is on Sky, I think it was on Sky Atlanta, but I'm certain you'll probably be able to find it elsewhere. But anyway, it was really good. It's called From, and it's like if The Walking Dead and Lost, the good part of Lost, not the shit part of Lost, had a baby, then it was this program, really. So it's really weird scenario that it's basically that there's this town where people you see the first couple. So I won't spoil anything, but see the first couple. There's like a family, and they're in a camper van and whatnot, and they're driving, and they see this tree has fallen down. So obviously they swerve to miss the tree and whatnot. But then when they are continuing to drive, they go through this little town, and they stop for directions because the town isn't on the map. And then they sort of get directions, and they say, oh yeah, if you go that way, blah blah blah, you're sort of gonna get out of town. But it's not, it's like a big circle, so it keeps going back round to the town. And so that's the first day for them. But what happens in this town is that at night, there's these like demon people kind of thing that come out, and it's really like quite creepy. They got really creepy, like big smiles and, jagged teeth and stuff. But they sort of come out at night and like will, torture anybody who's sort of out and about. And yeah, so obviously everybody sort of, they'll go indoors and they'll lock the doors, nail windows shut and stuff like that. So it's like a quite peaceful town during the day. At night, it goes really, really sinister, but they can't leave the town, which is also a sinister part of it. So, and they're all trying to work out sort of how they got there, because they've all come from various different locations. So like, say one came from Detroit, one came from New York City, but they all ended up at the same place. So it's like a mystery as to how they actually got there. And it was actually really gripping, to be honest. So it's like 8 or 10 episodes, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, it is. It's really good. The other program that I've literally just finished watching as well, which is on Netflix, was called Devil in Ohio.
I've not heard of that. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I've not heard of either of these things. But they sound very interesting.
Well, the From one, that's on Sky, so that's why you may not have heard of it, because you haven't got TV as such. No. You use streaming sites, so...
Yes.
But I believe...
I just used my, what do you call it? Come on, brain. Amazon Fire Stick, so yeah.
Yeah.
If it comes to Amazon, I've got a cat in hell's chance.
Well, I'm sure that, if you did a bit of searching behind the scenes, you possibly would be able to find From. And you know what I'm saying about that, and I'm doing inverted commas. No English, don't understand. Exactly, so that's why you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So this one's on Netflix. It's called Devil in Ohio, and it's basically a story of a girl who is in a cult, but a satanic cult. And she's like escaping. So the first scene is her running through cornfields, trying to sort of get away. And then it's kind of, and then somebody, she sort of runs out in front of a car, and they obviously stop and take her into a hospital. So it's kind of like the story of trying to keep her out of the clutches of the cult, but also the foster family who have taken her in. It's kind of like their experience with what the cult's doing to them and stuff like that as well. And it's very creepy. Yeah, it's really creepy, but it's like perfectly creepy. So it's like, it's got the right amount of creep, which sounds weird.
Sounds like a song, lined up a song.
Yeah, it's there's the next song from Radiohead. It's the right amount of creep. Yeah. Some sinister. But you sort of see this this girl, she's sort of imitating like the daughter of the foster mum, and trying to, it's kind of like she's almost taken over her life as well, so that she's accepted in the family, because it's only a foster situation, so she's not like a permanent member of the family. So she's trying to make sure she doesn't leave. But then you've also got all of the the stuff going on in the background, and there's police people that are looking into everything, and you find out, you know, there's a lot of things going on in this program, and I really did. I found it very good. There's 8 to 10 episodes. I can't remember exactly how many, and I managed to finish them in one day. So it was like
that shows it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
That shows how good it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the other things I've been watching are just like, I watched all of the Big Bang Theories because I'd never seen. Actually, there's loads that I hadn't seen. And there's this other cartoon program called Big Mouth, which I absolutely love. It's basically it's a cartoon of kids that are all going through puberty, but it's quite comical. Sorry, and there's like puberty. What they called monsters. So they're kind of like, you know, they've got like little horns that looks like penises and stuff. You know, it's really bizarre, but it's really funny. So yeah,
it does sound weird. It does sound very weird, I'm going to be honest. Yeah,
it is. But I think it's also like in the second episode, you've got this girl, basically this, again, it's all cartoons, but this girl goes to not the Eiffel Tower. What's the one in New York?
Empire State?
No, the Statue of Liberty.
Liberty?
Yeah. So she goes to the Statue of Liberty, and she gets her first period, and her mum's made her wear white shorts. So obviously that's not a good thing. So obviously they go a bit red, and but it's kind of like, you know, how mortified she is from this experience, but also it's like she's got this like real geeky friend who tries to help out by going to the gift shop to, you know, get her maybe a change of clothes or whatever. But all he can get is either a 9/11 lest we forget flag, or there was something else as well that was equally inappropriate. But but the reason why I bring that one up is because it's like a little cameo from I can't remember what the lead singer from REM is called, but
Stipe. Michael Stipe.
Michael
Stipe?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. And he is he's a tampon.
God. God.
And instead of it being everybody hurts, it's going, everybody bleeds sometimes. Oh, it just makes me laugh. It's
weird.
Like, it's
definitely
really
weird.
It's really, really gross, but it is like, it's really funny as well. So, you know, I recommend it.
I'll bear it in mind. It's
maybe watch the other two
first.
Sounds
interesting. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I've given up with getting you to watch Stranger Things now. So
I think you will have to give up for a wee while on that. I'll probably delve back into it.
Yeah.
The only thing I watched that is the Cobra Kai, the most recent seasons of that. I enjoyed it, but it does get rather preposterous, obviously, at certain points. But yeah, that was reasonably enjoyable.
Oh, I've not. I didn't actually realise that there was a new one. So
yeah, if you get a chance, delve on into that one. Yeah, and I've been watching little bits of She-Hulk, and it's okay. It's I don't know. It seems very polarising. People either love it or hate it. So.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground.
No.
Oh, unless it's me, unless I'm the middle ground. So I'm just like, it's all right.
I think it's the Marmite of Hulk, isn't it? Marmite of Marvel, sorry. But yeah, it's
a Marmite of Marvel.
Yeah. There you go. If we didn't have an episode title already, that would have been it. But I've not actually seen it yet. I do keep hearing mixed reviews, but I'm not in any rush to go and watch it. But I will get round to watching it eventually. But I've heard some negative things, some positive things. So, you know, I'm just on the fence at the moment. I'm busy watching other stuff.
I'll just say the CGI is a letdown in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it looked awful in the trailer to it, and sometimes it looks all right, but sometimes it's very obvious.
Yeah.
That's not a major detraction, it's just one of the things you notice. But, I mean, yeah, some people are enraged by it. I'm just like, it's all right, you know, it's watchable. It's sit your brain in neutral and...
Yeah, I suppose...
Is what it is.
Yeah, in some ways, though, with the amount of technology that we've got nowadays, I'm actually really, really surprised that the CGI isn't very good.
I think people expect sort of perfection
I suppose.
from it. So, but yeah, I don't know. They probably spent all the money. It's all the money they no longer have from paying Robert Downey Jr., you see. If they paid him just a little less, the show would have looked phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, they've killed him off now, so at least they'll get more of the budget soon, won't they?
Spoiler.
Well, spoiler for a 4-year-old film. So, you know, sorry people if you haven't seen Endgame. But if you haven't seen Endgame, you're probably not going to see it, are you? So, you know, you're not
true.
a proper Marvelite.
That's true. That's very true.
Have I just made that word up? Marvelite?
A Marvelite.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a Marmite and the Marmite Marvelite, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. Oh, well, I mean, I will definitely check those two out. But they're kind of, I've got such a long list of things that I want to watch that it's hard, isn't it? Just keeping up with everything. So, you know, eventually I'll get round to completing all of Netflix and then...
The end of time will happen at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there we have it. Well, I don't know about you, James, because I personally couldn't find any stories of the week that were actually quite comical this week, because mostly the news is about the Queen. So
it is true, yeah.
And rightly so. So, and also just a little caveat to that as well. I remember having a conversation with, again, Lucy Caton, and it really made me laugh, and I did show you at the time, but it said that, because for those who don't follow James on Facebook and potentially Twitter, because I don't know if you do it on Twitter as well, but on Facebook especially, it's almost every single day that there is a new post saying who has died in the world.
And Moonlight is the Grim Reaper.
Yes. So it's even gotten to the point where we might actually have to make it a segment on the podcast for you to cover who's died during the week. But so this seems to be a fascination by James. But I was speaking to Lucy and I said, "Oh no, the Queen's dead," you know, because the news had reported it. And she goes, "Well, I won't believe it until James has updated his Facebook status."
And indeed, I did. I allowed her to be aware that this had happened.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes later. I was like, "Ta-da! It's done."
It's become such a thing that people who actually know me, when they see me, go, "Who's died today?" Yeah,
exactly. So,
any updates on anyone who's died?
It is surprising. It is the case. I think at times when I've written on your Facebook page, "What? No one's died today."
I've got to sometimes step back just to, not trivialise it too much.
Yeah. Or the other thing is I go, "Who? Who was that?"
Yes, that's true. That does happen. Who is that?
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, even I wonder who is this person when I posted it.
So I think next week maybe what we'll do, well, next week if we have an episode, whatever, but yeah,
James's death card.
Yeah, I think we should who's died this week, kind of thing, reporting from James Stafford.
Yeah
Well, in that case then, James, I think that we've done a really good Codswallop this week. So
I would agree.
Yeah, I would too. So in that case then, I have been Gemma.
I have been James.
And we have been talking Codswallop. I thank you.
We certainly have. Have a good one, guys.
Yes, everybody have an amazing time. Tell your friends we're back, letting them all know. at Codswallop Pod for all the social media, because I haven't done that for a while. And yeah. Bye!
Bye-bye.